Howdy folks, just a quick video here to show you how to change the ribbon on your Hermes 3000. One thing of note, hey, gloves, man, makes a big difference. If you don't have gloves, you can use rubbing alcohol to remove this stuff from your fingers because it's gonna get everywhere. All right, first thing you wanna do is take your ribbon selector and move it all the way down to the red setting. This is gonna raise the bichrome, or in this case trichrome, raise the ribbon vibrator all the way up when we press down the keys, because we're gonna be pressing down the keys here in a second, and that'll make a difference for it, make it a whole lot easier. Next, you're gonna wanna remove the ribbon cover. Pop your fingers down in there, brace your thumbs right here, angle it forward towards you, and lift it straight out. You'll notice these tabs right here are kinda angled. When you go to put this thing back, you're gonna wanna hook them right down inside there. These will go underneath this lid. So, when you go to put it back, that's how you do it. Next, you're gonna need to remove the existing ribbon, assuming that you have one. Pretty easy to do. First thing, pull a little bit of slack. You're gonna lift it from the outside with your fingers underneath there. Lift it up, and then push it back down, and then lift it up again. Now the whole thing just comes straight out. All right, now to put in our other ribbon. Now, ideally on a Hermes 3000, you should have an eyelet or a grommet on your ribbon. This serves to actuate or to activate the ribbon reverse system. When you get to the end of the ribbon, that grommet will hit there and hang and go doink and reverse the direction so it starts winding onto the other spool. If you don't have an eyelet on there, you can tie a knot in the ribbon and it does pretty much the same thing, though an eyelet is better. Knots will cause your ribbon to twist sometimes, so it's not ideal. So if you do have an eyelet, you need to get your ribbon all the way to one end, or not really, but that's how you check to see if it's actually there. Make sure that that thing is going to be onto the spool rather than out in the middle like that, right? It needs to be all the way onto the winding spool rather than the feeding spool. So first off, go ahead and seat your ribbon spools onto the post, and notice there's a little spike right there. And that little spike has to fit into one of the slots on your spool. Your spool may look a little bit different than this, but I guarantee you it's still gonna have little slots for that spike, and if not, you don't have the right spool. Might take some wiggling and jiggling to get it in just the right place, and rather than trying to twist it while it's on there, trying to get that spike to seat, put it on, and if it doesn't seat, pull it back off, move it a little bit, then put it back on again. And if it doesn't seat, pull it off and move it again. Because as you try to move that thing, it's gonna move the spike with it, and yeah, doesn't work. All right, so once you got those on there, you're gonna need to raise your keys up. I mentioned we were raising the keys up, right? And this is why we did this part. So you're gonna push your G and your H at the same time with one finger. Now, this is gonna intentionally jam the type bars, right? You don't wanna do it super hard, just do it enough to make sure they stay in place and it raises up the ribbon vibrator. Gives you better access to it. You're gonna pull yourself a little bit of slack because you're gonna wanna bow your ribbon together like that. And we're gonna hook that little U onto these two center posts there. And see there, I took the U behind and around those posts. Now once you have that done, you're gonna squinch it down a little bit and hook it underneath the upper set of spikes. Just like that. Now you can go all the way to the outside and hook it behind the lower set of spikes. Once you have it seated behind the center post, the goal post, behind the upper spikes and behind the lower spikes, then you're done at the vibrator, and you can seat it into the reverse guides like so. Now, if your reverse guides have been mangled at some point, they might be wide enough here to let your grommet slip through or your knot slip through. And if you're having trouble with your reverse, that could be the problem. You can just squish that back together and it'll work. So there you go. That's about all there is to it. Now you want to go ahead and test and make sure everything works. And if you're lucky and careful, then it will. You can get your lid seated back on there, and you're good to go. Hope this helps. Later.